Hey guys, Jben here, and thank you so much for getting me to 200 subscribers on YouTube. It is such an honor, and I can't thank you enough. And as promised, I have hosted a Q&A, and it's time to answer some of your much-asked questions. So, let's begin, shall we? First, I'm going to answer the Instagram questions. Griffin Eclipse asks, how many versions of Jay have you made? And also over how much time? Well, when I first created Jay, I originally had him as this really kind of crappy 2015 Bionicle build with just CCBS, and it wasn't very good. It didn't really fit what I wanted for the character, so I really needed some custom stuff on him. So when version 2 came around, I don't like to talk about version 2 because he is a mess of a mock. It was the first time I had really tried to build a custom torso, and it did not turn out very well, and he definitely needed some work. And that's when we get to version 3, which is the first version that looks like his modern incarnation. And it was okay. It needed some fine-tuning though, and that's when version 4, and by extension, I guess 5, came around. Velocijactor Mox, love the name by the way, asks, what do you prefer, cows or dinosaurs? It's the cows, I likes the dinosaurs. Toa Benjacrix asks, favorite song? I don't really have a general favorite song. Usually my favorite song depends on what I'm into at the time, like just how my mood is. Am I feeling more depressed or happy? Do I want a lighthearted song? Do I want a very depressed song? So I don't really have a favorite. Kuranos Air Warrior asks, would you rather become a life-sized Bionicle or a Bionicle-sized human?
I'd rather be an Apache helicopter-sized Apache helicopter because that's what I identify as.
Scars Mox asks, time it took to build Royalty. Well, Royalty started off as a really crappy, 2015 mock that used a Paraka chest piece, and then it just kind of evolved from there, getting better and better. So, I don't know, a couple months, I guess. Mr. CG asks, Makuta or Toa, Borak or Rakshi, Matanui or Metronui? Toa, Borak, and as for Metronui and Matanui, probably Metronui just because I prefer the aesthetic. It's a bit more sci-fi than fantasy, and I just prefer that. Sigmox asks, inspiration for Royalty? Alright, so the story behind Royalty is actually a bit complex. I originally was just randomly building this kind of 2015 mock to be like this kind of like beastly guard to Makuta in the 2015 storyline, and he basically just went from that to some kind of just ancient warrior of Akodo, and then from there he just kept growing into his own character in my own universe, and I just decided to keep him because I really liked him, and he ended up growing into my main villain of my story, at least the first part. Oh, and in terms of design though, now he's heavily inspired by Thanos from Marvel. Spearmint asks, Futa? No. God, no! Anything but that, no! Colter Docs asks, will you make Nuva Booty for a mock? I don't know, maybe someday. Tyrosis asks, do you want to fuck a dog in the... Okay, no, Bree. No, Bree. No, Bree. No. Drow Zion Mox asks, do you like snail food? Hunter Black Brick asks, what is love? Alright, next up are the YouTube questions. Clem Magnus asks, what are your opinions on Waffle Rights? And if waffles are given rights, how do you believe the pancake community will react to this? And do you believe it is socially acceptable for potatoes to identify as hash browns? Please, sir, we would appreciate your opinion. Hell yeah, waffles should have rights, and if those conservative pancakes don't like it, they can stuff it up their batter. As for the whole hash browns thing, that's extremely offensive. Everybody knows potatoes only identify as French fries. What the fuck am I doing with my life? Demise KF asks, where did you get your mocking talent? I still don't really see myself as that talented of a mockist, but thanks for the compliment, I guess. As for how I've improved, I just practice mocking as much as I can, and I usually try to use builds that are out of my comfort zone, trying to figure things out. It helps that I use a lot of legal connections, so that opens up a lot of more possibilities that I wouldn't have if I did it the legal way. Plus, I also have a lot of friends in the community that are also more experienced mockists than me, and they've helped me out. Jack Mox asks, Father, Why have you forsaken me?
Because you are a bad, disobedient child, and for that you must be punished.
C-Star09 asks, what are some other fandoms I'm in? And as much as I love Bionicle, do I also like Pokemon? Yeah, dude, Pokemon's my freaking childhood. Even though I'm a bigger fan of Digimon, which I'm not saying that to be ironic, like I legit like Digimon a lot. As well as I also am huge on Mega Man and Kamen Rider. Though recently I got into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as well as the Voltron Legendary Defender fandom. Zero Master asks, Yo Jay, out of all of your mocks, which one would you say is the best that you've made so far? Well, if we're talking about the build and people's general feelings of the mocks as well as my own, I'd have to say Royalty. Everybody seems to like that mock, and I really like it too, and I'm really proud of it. Anaru LST asks, pancakes, waffles, or French toast? Pancakes and waffles are good. I'm iffy about French toast. Shotgun Steven 21 asks, what/who inspired you to start mocking, and what is your favorite element in the Bionicle universe? Well, when I got back into Bionicle in 2015 because of the reboot, I just started mocking for the first time because I never really did it as a kid. And the people who inspired me to get better were Shadowgear and Elira. I've always liked their mocks, and they're really cool people. And when it comes to my favorite element from the Bionicle Gen 1 canon, probably Earth. Makuta Ramoris asks, what is your favorite robot master from Mega Man? How much Dragon Ball have I watched? Do I play Halo? Which do I prefer, sci-fi or fantasy? I've always been very partial to Metal Man and Crash Man. When it comes to Dragon Ball, I used to be much more into it, but back when I was a sophomore in high school, I actually went back and binged the entire original series of Dragon Ball Z, and oh, so much time was wasted on that. No, I'm not a big fan of Halo, and I prefer sci-fi. Oboistus1 asks, what inspired you to make Bionicle content, and for how long have you been doing so? I kind of answered this before, but I'll just say it again. Back in 2015, when Bionicle was rebooted, I got back into Bionicle, and I started buying the sets. And so, when I started buying the sets, I started making mocks. And when I started making mocks, I wanted to make content with those mocks. So, I guess since 2015. There's probably an exact date, but I can't be bothered to look it up. HS Ruko Diora asks, would you be interested in doing reviews of other people's mocks? I don't really think I have the mocking skill or the elitist status to be able to do something like that, so no, I'm only going to be reviewing my own mocks. And the final question is from the_double, and he asks, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Not as much wood as you're going to be sucking! Just joking, please don't hate me. And that about wraps it up. So, once again, guys, thank you so much for 200 subscribers. Never in my life did I ever think that 200 people would actually subscribe to my channel and just care about me. That is nuts to me. And I know it's really not that much by YouTube standards, but it's still just, it brings a tear to my eye. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to bring you guys more good Bionicle content in the future. Bye!